एम्प्लॉयमेंट की तो आजकल काफ़ी क्राइसिस देखने को मिल रही है और इसी सेक्टर में आज हम बात करेंगे एमबीए की। जब इंडिया में इकोनॉमिक लिबरलाइजेशन आया था 1990s में तो इस एमबीए की बहुत हाइप थी। अगर कोई एमबीए डिग्री लेता था तो उसकी तो जॉब कंफर्म थी। पर आज ये देखने को आ रहा है अगर हम टॉप कॉलेजेस जैसे आईआईएम को छोड़ दें तो 50% ऑफ पीपल एम्प्लॉयबल ही नहीं है। कंपनीज उन्हें हायर ही नहीं कर रही हैं क्योंकि वो एम्प्लॉयबल नहीं है। उसी सेक्टर में आज हम बात करने आए हैं LMA लखनऊ मैनेजमेंट एसोसिएशन के सीनियर वाइस प्रेसिडेंट मिस्टर के माथुर से। वो हमें बताएंगे कि LMA इसके लिए क्या कर रहा है और हमें आज के यूथ को MBA ग्रेजुएट स्पेशली उनको ऐसी कैसे तैयारी बनाएं कि वो एक एम्प्लॉयबल ग्रेजुएट निकले अपने कॉलेज से। सर वेलकम टू न्यूज़ टाइम्स। सर आप ये बताइए, जैसे आपने भी देखा होगा जब एक टाइम पे बहुत हाइप थी एमबीए की, पर अभी वो हाइप तो है पर वो जॉब इतनी ज़्यादा क्रिएट नहीं हो पा रही है, बल्कि हम इकोनॉमिकली डेवलप कर रहे हैं, ग्लोबल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हो रहा है, सब कुछ हो रहा है, तो आप लैग कहाँ पे कर रहे हैं?
You see, the problem is twofold. One is that there are not enough jobs. They are being created, but they are not catching up with the kind of numbers which are coming. And second, as you mentioned, is a problem of employability. A lot of surveys have said that the engineering and management graduates which are coming out of our institutions, a very small percentage is employable. Now that's a very serious situation, and so much so that when people don't get jobs, they stop taking MBA program, and even I heard that the institutions are closing down.
Yeah.
Now, how to address this situation? So, and you asked what LMA is doing. Let me first tell you briefly what LMA is. You see, Lucknow Management Association is an affiliate of All India Management Association, which is an All India body, which apex management body of the country. And what we do is we proliferate principles and practice of management in this part of the country. In fact, IMA, which is All India Management Association, has 65 chapters, and we are one of them. And we proliferate the management know-how and also work with the government on various public policy issues. So in management, we have come across this problem, everyone knows about it, and we have tried to address it in a small way. We hold a large number of programs for students in collaboration with various business schools and even colleges, non-MBA colleges also, where graduates and postgraduates are there. So we find that that these students lack in soft skills, that is one, and their knowledge level is also needs to be upgraded. So of course on the knowledge side, the institutions have to take care. We organize a lot of soft skill programs for them. We have also conducted a large number of programs on surface science, which is a new area, and which helps in how to upgrade the service. Now, service is something which is required in every industry, in every business. So that is one which is not taught in the business schools. So last year we organized as many as some 15-20 workshops at different management institutes. Now, academia has curriculum which the industry finds not very applicable. The issues which they have to face in the industry are entirely different from what the academia.
So how we can fill that void? between the demand and supply?
We organized a big workshop on this subject and involved the AKTU, which is the largest institution, a university of this kind, in the whole nation. And there are some 600 colleges. So we had a big interaction with them in which we involved the industry associations and some software companies and all, deans and vice chancellors and academia. We found that there was a big gap, and the gap was something like this, that the curriculum which these institutions follow, they are not updated, at least not as much as they should be. They have their own limitations. The problem is that on one side there is some inertia in upgrading the curriculum. On the other side, the industry is also not willing to spend time on it. So both work in isolation. And somehow in a long discussion which we had with both of them together, there was not much of a breakthrough. The other problem was that now, with the technology changing at a very rapid pace, the industry has to adopt new technologies, which are not being taught.
Yeah.
So that was another thing. And the universities are not well equipped to organize training. So these were the two major hurdles, in the industry-academia interface. So what we tried to do is that we organized some programs in high technology areas. We got hold of some people, who are in the area of high technology, and organized some workshops in which the students, particularly of MTech level, they attended. And we have offered to the university that we can sort of organize such workshops leading to specific projects. So that rather than going into the exercise of revising the curriculum and putting it into a formal way,
we must have the practical approach.
We must have some practical approach and do it in small steps. Rather than, taking the problem as a whole, which we found very difficult. So that is one intervention which we thought was useful. And the other was that we thought that an internship in the industry while the student is in the college was useful. You see, the problem there is that this internship program is already there.
Exactly. It's there in the curriculum.
It is there in the curriculum. They have to undergo, they have to produce a certificate, they have to produce a project report. But the unfortunate part is that it is not taken seriously. What happens that this internship program is more on paper than in reality. Boys and girls, they get hold of somebody to give them a certificate. They get a certificate, not only a certificate, they get the whole project. And there are shops which...
And it's not only in MBA, it's in all courses.
So they get a ready-made copy-paste kind of thing and they produce a certificate also. So what we did, we wanted to start a program of internship.
In LMA only?
In LMA only. And we said that we floated an inquiry as to who are interested. And we got some 70-80 responses. we said that we will give them a sort of classroom instructions on how to go about it, make a project, connect them to an industry, and help them in developing the project, guide them, so that they have some support in making a project which you will be surprised that out of 60 or 70, or more than that, I think it's close to 100 applications we received for that. There was a small fees of some 500 rupees for
filling the forms and to come.
Filling, not only arranging for instruction, lectures for about 2 weeks or so. So only 10 or 12 stayed. Rest of them went back. Because they thought that they would get something ready-made here. Here they had to work.
The problem is here, sir, that the students only they don't want to work.
Not because, you see, it's not only the problem of the students, it's the problem of the institution. We said that how do you accept that? Now, this problem is known to the institutions. They are doing nothing about to stop it.
They are doing their job,
They think that if the certificate comes and the project, something comes in print, it's fine, and they get their credit.
There we are lacking, sir.
So that was the problem. So we said, okay, so those 12 or 15, students who did the project seriously, they were benefited immensely. Some of them got good placements on this train too.
Obviously,
what they've done?
Because they have industry experience.
They had some industry experience and they were aware about what was done, what they had done. Others were not even aware of what was done. It was copy-paste.
Exactly.
Copy-paste. So what we plan to do is, we want to take it forward. We have suggested to the university that we will run this program and they should invite application. They should invite application, place the student with us. We will have an MOU. We have suggested an MOU with the AKTU. And we have also similarly,
This LMA has any MOU with any other institution? Right?
Yeah, no, we start, because AKTU being the biggest one, they have some 600 colleges.
Exactly.
So, you see, we also don't have the bandwidth to address the problem state-wise.
Exactly.
So, we have also arranged with some of the companies to give them specific projects. And those companies, and most of them are these technology companies, they have agreed that they would give them specific problems also to work on, and this will be about 11 months training.
The broader aspect they will get to see.
They will work in the industry, so they will get a feel of it.
Exactly.
They will get a feel of how the things work in the industry, and it will help them in. To my mind, I think this would be the biggest intervention.
Exactly.
If it works well. In other countries, this is very common, and the people, they are attached with some industry right from the beginning of the course, and they work throughout their, education.
Sir, as you have talked about other countries, so I want to ask, there is a mindset in people that if they'll do MBA from other countries, so they will be benefited more rather than doing it in India. But we have IIMs, like foreign people come to India to join IIM. So what do you say about it?
You see, there is a very minuscule percentage of such institution, and IIMs, okay, but everyone cannot get into
Exactly.
So I am one, but I am also, the industry exposure is not as good as it should be.
Yeah, as it is required.
You see, all these MBAs, the industry has to put them to like another round of training, to make them suitable for the industry. So, But yes, of course, I have a good record of placement. But another tendency which I see, and which is very good, even in IIMs and other institutions also, that now the focus is gradually shifting from employment to starting their own venture.
Yeah.
You see, about a couple of years back, 5-6 years back, I've been interacting with the students for a very long time. When we used to ask, how many of you want to start your own business? Probably 1 out of 100
Exactly.
head would go up. That was
because that was not in like trend, or we can say.
Now you can see about 30% of
students want to get into
want to
this.
take it. So that's a very positive sign, because the problem of employment would really never be solved
Exactly.
by any industry, any government. They cannot, and it has
Because
never
demand
happened.
is less and supply is too much.
It will never happen.
Exactly.
You know, as the industry is changing, the actual requirement of employment is going down. So you can't have people looking for jobs. They will never get jobs. Not in this government or any government.
Any government, exactly.
So that's not the. You see, in any advanced country, in US, there is data to show
Exactly.
that the employment created by small businesses is far more than large companies. So who provides the employment? Large companies.
Exactly.
Traditionally, and you think that large, but the small businesses are providing more jobs.
Exactly.
So they have to become job creators.
And they are coming up with new ideas also. They are not following some set trend of doing business.
That's right. So the startups now, therefore, LMA thought that there is no use really trying to make them employable as such to find employment.
Exactly.
So we started working on creating an ecosystem of startups.
Okay. How do you do that?
You see, for the last 2 years, we have been organizing workshops. That is one thing. And then we thought that merely lecturing or seminars would really not do the job. So we started organizing workshops in which we said only the boys and girls, they have to present a business plan.
Okay, their own business plan.
They should think out. So like there are 100 students, we'll announce that, okay, after 15 days, 20 days, we'll have a workshop in which those who are interested, they can present a business plan. Then we have a set of people who will evaluate that business plan and sort of quiz them how. So actual business plan means something which can be translated into a company, working company. So last year we had about, I think, 10 workshops throughout the year.
For the startup thing.
Startup
So,
workshops, how to.
Did you get any nice idea about the project?
So out of those 10 workshops in which probably about 100 students must have participated, we picked up about 16, 17 business plans and ideas and preliminary big business plans. And we had some professionals to work with them to develop. Out of 16, we found that 5, 6 found it difficult to carry on. We thought it was tough. It was not a cakewalk. So they dropped out.
Okay.
But 4 converted them into companies.
Oh.
So we thought that it was some small baby step.
It's a step towards the big
thing. So there are a few, because when they now they know that employment is not easy.
Exactly.
It's not coming.
So recently entrepreneurship MBA has started, and it has given a opportunity to students to come up with their own thing.
Yes.
So that's what we are talking about. So where do you see this entrepreneurship MBAs will go?
Well, of course, entrepreneurship, they have to start their own enterprise. They can't be looking for jobs.
But then, sir, they have an issue of finance also. So for what?
I'll tell you what, we tried to look into that problem. And last year, what we did, along with IIM Lucknow, we roped in Niti Aayog in this in September last year. And we organized a conference. It was, at that conference, we invited some VCs, venture capitalists, some mentors, and
IIM's mentors?
No, from all over the country.
Okay.
IIM has an entrepreneurship program, IIM Lucknow, and they have set up an incubation center. They already have an incubation center at Noida, and they had last year created an incubation center at Lucknow. But that is focusing only on fintech.
Okay.
So it is called Sci-Fi.
Okay.
So that is in the IIM Lucknow campus. Sci-Fi at that time was being created with the help of SIDBI.
Okay.
It had really not come into existence then, but
now is it there?
Now it is there, and even last year it had almost been finalized. So we involved SIDBI also, we involved Niti Aayog, and we asked Niti Aayog to sort of provide us with some resource persons like venture capitalists and some incubators, accelerators, etc. And they did that, and Niti Aayog people also came. And Niti Aayog, if you know, they have a separate department called Atal Innovation Mission. So the founder manager of Atal Innovation Mission also came, and in fact the CEO of Niti Aayog also had to come, but last minute he had to back out, and then he sent an additional Secretary Government of India and all that. So we had a long discussion in 3-session full day, what a startup should be doing, and some 300, 400 students, an entrepreneur taking entrepreneurship course, they attended. You see, there is a deficit of knowledge also.
Exactly.
You must, I mean, everyone doesn't know how to go about it.
Exactly.
So the government of UP also got involved, governor and rest of them, they came. So there they were told how to go about setting up a startup, what an incubator is supposed to be doing, what an accelerator is supposed to be, how to make a business plan. There were two panel discussions, long panel discussions in which different organizations gave their perspective on what the institution should do. AKTU has also set up an incubation center. They were also there. So it was a big conference, and at the end of that, we organized a small competition kind of thing, in which some presentations were made by students, and some prizes were given to that. So that created an ecosystem. That was the start, as far as LMA is concerned. And after that, we organized, because that was a small competition, only 8 or 10 teams participated. Exactly. We thought we need to scale up. Then we organized another one, which we called pitching competition, in which there was only pitching, no talking, no panel discussion or speeches.
Pitch your ideas.
Only pitch your ideas, and we floated an inquiry. And in Amity University, we organized a pitching session in which some 40 teams participated. And the jury was investors and incubators. So there also, we gave prizes, etc. and so on. So that was some, you see, the idea was to create an ecosystem. Now how the ecosystem is created, that there are people interested in setting up the business, there are people who fund, who can fund. They don't easily fund, but at least they come in contact, and there is an interaction. So that's how, you know, things develop. So that was another small step. Then the third step was a slightly bigger one. Then the UP government told us that we should organize a bigger conclave. So we organized this year, that was also in September 18. The earlier one at MET was in February 18, and this was in September 18. And here we organized in a bigger scale. We again collaborated with IIM Lucknow, and there were 10 parallel sessions of pitching. 10 parallel sessions in different sectors, and we had some 120 startups making presentations, and we had about 10, 12 investors and accelerators and bigger companies who came. And the government of UP supported it with bigger cash prizes. That was a very successful intervention, and
so out of 120, how many ideas were there? So we can scale up to that.
You see, there was one winner in one particular. You see, what we did, we divided into two parts. One is the ideation stage, where there was only an idea which had not been actually implemented in full, maybe partially. And the other one was at the product stage, where the product had been developed, which has either been scaled up or which needs to be scaled up. So in that, we said there will be one winner in the ideation stage, one winner in the product stage. Then similarly, there will be runners up. Then we said that we will give a prize to the best student startup, because there were students as well as they were practicing startup. And then we said there will be a prize for the women, best women startup. So like that we had 5, 6 prizes, and there was good amount of deliberations and in various 10 parallel sessions going on, and then we asked them to display their products. So there were some 25 stalls in which those startups displayed actually what their projects they are doing. So that created some kind of an activity, and that gave some encouragement also to the startup. You see, the problem is that the startup doesn't know how to go about, and he doesn't get any encouragement. Government has made policies which are...
Now this government is also working on it a lot.
It's working. This government did it only this. And this, the government was pretty happy about it, and they said that we want to scale it up further. And probably in this year only, we'll have another conclave. So like that, people, who were looking for jobs and were not getting it, they are coming into startup. So in this conference also in IIM last year in September, this fellow had come, Sanjeev Bichandani, ever?
Yeah.
So he had come. So he asked the same question from the audience: how many of you want to start your own business? So 30-40% raised their hand. So he also said that I am very happy that at least that shift is taking place.
That idea is there in your mind.
And in UP that is taking place, that is more important. Because, Bangalore and Pune and all, they are established hubs.
Exactly.
And probably worldwide, India is third in startup. So that's a very positive sign. And now we are happy that at least UP is also catching up. There are some startups in Bangalore who are from UP. They are doing well there. They want to come back. Because they have their roots here.
Exactly.
But since there were no opportunities,
but now they are seeing that there are opportunities.
now
So we
they
should go
are
back
seeing,
to our
and we are trying to find them out, locate them, and trying to get them back. So they are the ones who
So,
are.
and so recently we are talking about startups. So recently the government has organized an investor summit, and I see a lot of changes happening after that. So in management sector, is any changes happening after investor summit?
Now in management, you see, there is no sector like management sector. Now management is required for
All
any,
sectors.
for all fields. You see, there is not much of industry. As of now, it is coming up now. The government is doing a lot to develop industry. You see, unlike other states, like for example in states like Gujarat, Ahmedabad, huge industry.
Exactly.
And the management associations are mostly manned by industry people and they work for industry. Bombay or even Madras.
Exactly.
So those management associations. Lucknow Management Association has, I would say, a handicap of not having much of industry as of now. Hopefully it will grow in time to come. And so Lucknow Management Association is trying to introduce professional management in government by organizing programs on public policy, in which the government and the whole government machinery is interested. So we organize a lot of programs on public policy, whether it is in the field of agriculture or power or education or infrastructure. So they are all areas of public. In the investor summits also, we had a small role of organizing interactions on some of the major policies of the government, like aerospace and defense policy, and electric car policy, pharmaceutical policy, and logistics policy. So the government asked us to organize some interactions and inputs on the draft policies which were coming up before they are taken to the cabinet.